Dr. Pepper and Friends, where grit, grace, and wholehearted living come together. And now, here's Dr. Pepper.
Hey, and welcome in to Dr. Pepper and Friends. So January tends to function kind of like a State of the Union for most of us. It's that time of year where we pause and we take a breath and try to be honest about where things really stand. So this podcast is all about grit and grace and wholehearted living. So this is a good time for us to kick in some of that, all right? So not resolutions, not hype, but just taking an honest look at what's working and what's wearing us down and what we're carrying in to this next season. So for a long time now, I've been noticing the same thing in conversations with men. Most of these are men who are responsible and faithful and doing what needs to be done, and yet they are quietly wearing down in ways that they don't always have language for. So out of that observation, something came up that I've been developing called FieldCraft. And you may have seen some social media posts about this already, and I've been kind of surprised that this has kind of touched a nerve in a very needed way, I think. So this is not as much of a product or a pitch, but it's more of a framework to help name what seems to be the thing that men need in order to stay steady in real life. So today's conversation is a deeper dive into why that framework exists. So I'm not rolling out anything or selling any timelines or anything like that just yet. We'll talk more about what's being rolled out maybe in the next week or so. But we're simply taking an inventory and asking honest questions about the current state of manhood and why strength alone really often isn't enough. So this is an episode that also kicks off a short series that we're going to do this month called The State of the Man. So we had the State of the Union address in January. I think later in January, even in our town, we're going to have the State of the City and the State of the County and the State of the State. So this is going to be the State of the Man. So over the next few weeks, we're going to slow down in some key areas that men tend to wrestle with. Things like emotions and grit and purpose and authenticity and even adventure. And we're going to explore each one of these with some different voices and different perspectives. So we'll have some new faces and voices on Dr. Pepper and Friends in the next coming weeks. But for today, we're just going to name the terrain, the place where men actually are and why this conversation matters. So I am joined today by my friend and colleague, Will Chenault, and Will has been with us as a co-host many, many times, and he is the soul care pastor at Fellowship Bible Church and a therapist here at the Pratt Clinic. And he's going to help me to unpack how this work came together and what kind of need it's responding to. So the thing that's a little different about this one is Will's going to interview me in this conversation, and I'm going to be the one answering some of the questions. So let's join this conversation right now, and a special thanks to my friend Will.
Good afternoon, good evening,
Happy New
good
Year.
morning. Yes, Happy New Year. It's a new year and exciting year.
Yeah.
So today I'm in the driver's seat and I'm
Exactly.
interviewing you, Dr. Pepper. So I'm curious. I've seen this FieldCraft.
Yeah.
I've seen some advertisement for this. Very curious. What is this?
Well, it's kind of come out of, I mean, all of my counseling time, but it's not therapy, but also just time of walking with guys. I mean, I've got guys as friends. I work with guys in men's ministry, teach men's Bible study, listen to guys' hearts, bicycled with guys, hiked with guys, done all kinds of things with guys. I've got 2 sons. I've got 2 grandsons. Even my dogs are boys. So just in listening to the hearts of men over time, there's just something that has seemed to be missing. And that's kind of a framework and a platform for guys to just be able to talk about the things that are more of the soft skills. I mean, we're good at learning how to fix things, and we watch YouTube videos for that. We're good at being able to drop a buck at 150 yards. We can learn how to do things with our hands. We get golf coaches and personal trainers and all those kinds of things. But what I've heard for so long from men is that there's just places that they feel stuck and they feel like they're in the doldrums, that the wind has stopped blowing and their ship has stopped sailing, and they don't have a way of being able to express that, or in many cases don't feel like that they can improve on that. And sometimes they don't recognize that until there have been other things starting to pile up as a result of it.
Right. Yeah. That makes total sense. And I think just in all your years of working with men, I know just in conversations we have had of just this idea of good men doing good things,
Right.
um, paying the bills, taking care of their family, being a good husband, being connected in their local church, all of those good things. And yet they're worn down by life. So speak to that. What's been your observation, your experience when that happens?
Yeah, I think one of the things that winds up being a subtle disappointment for a lot of guys is that we grow up in a structure and kind of a progression that kind of facilitates men's need for growth, right? So we grow up in school where we're in the same classes with guys, and we get on sports teams, or we're involved in organizations that kind of push us to continue to achieve. And then we are have some of those first experiences that you have with guys that it all feels like an adventure, in many ways. And then we go to college and we go to dorms and we are in fraternities and we have these built-in cohorts, these friendships that are just so natural and they unfold in such a way. But then you get out of college and you go to work, and in some cases you're socialized into another group like that, maybe in church, or maybe you stay connected with some of those high school friends. But most men don't,
Right.
and they get out of these opportunities where that all comes so naturally, and get busy with life, so that you get busy building a career and having a family and tending to the family. And I've just had so many guys that I've talked to over the years that look around after being married 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and they're kind of like, I don't have any friends. I'm lonely. Or I've got the only person that I can speak safely with might be my wife. And I'm not even sure what to say to her sometimes, because emotion and finding the words for that just kind of comes so difficult at times. And then sometimes there's this kind of thing that I hear from guys of, I'm bored. I can remember writing in my journal on my 44th birthday. I remember writing this down. I'm 44 and I'm bored. Right?
Yeah. Which is a common thing, especially in that midlife, of just coming to the place of asking the question, is this all there is? So when men are at that place that they, the famous quote that men live lives of quiet desperation, when they do come to that place that they're lonely, they're disconnected, they're worn down just by the demands of life, what's the result? What's the fruit of that tree, so to say?
Yeah, I think there's a couple of extremes. I think one is just kind of shutting down and resigning your own heart.
Yeah.
And that's just so sad.
Yeah.
And you just become a worker bee, and you just kind of go through the motions, but you feel dead on the inside. And that's people can live a lot of their lives that way, maybe all of their lives in some cases. I think the other end of that extreme is kind of what gets a lot of people into the counseling offices, is that those feelings that they're having of needing more are in there, but they act impulsively on those at times and wind up creating crises in their marriage and in their life. And the desires that are the original desires aren't necessarily bad, but it's the result of the actions that they take impulsively to meet some of those needs and to express some of those desires that are maladaptive, and they wind up breaking trust and breaking hearts and breaking up families in some cases, or in some cases just leading to, I mean, this secret life and this terrible sense of guilt that they live with because they don't know any other way to have any of those desires expressed.
Right. Yeah. Huge cost.
Mm-hmm.
Huge cost of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so with your vision, your heart for FieldCraft, talk about how is that going to provide some sort of pathway?
Yeah, I'm so excited about this. The Lord has just put this on my heart, and I've got a vision for it, and I'm not going to get into all of it today. But I think if there's one thing that it's going to create is some opportunities for embodied training.
Yeah.
Okay, so by embodied training, the thing I mean by that is that information is not enough. It's not going to be. I mean, we got plenty of information out there. It's something that guys need to experience, but what they need to experience is the development of some of the skills that are required in order to express some of these desires and not be dead anymore, and to be able to find ways of wholehearted living that are apart from some of the impulsive things that wind up being maladaptive. And so there's going to be several things coming down the pike over the next month or two and throughout this year. That are just going to be those opportunities that guys are going to have to be able to learn the skills. And, the skills are going to be in the area of what we'll call it in FieldCraft is emotional athleticism. And I don't know if I unpacked all of that, it would make a lot more sense. But there is a fluidity that men need to learn. That's a skill. It's in there. But it's a fluidity that men just need to learn with being able to know how to position themselves and know how to notice their own heart and how to respond to other people without feeling like they're selling their soul and without feeling like they're abandoning the things that are really important to them, but also not finding anger is the only way to express that. Right. So that's one piece of it. Another is tactical adventure. And tactical adventure is being intentional about doing things that allow my heart to come alive. Being authentic in relationships, both with other men, but also in my marriage is another piece of that. And then discovering passion and purpose. I mean, that's something I hear on a regular basis for the guys. And the thing I've discovered is that the economic status is irrelevant. I've had guys that were making hundreds of thousands of dollars that will say, I have no purpose in what I'm doing. I hate what I do, and I'm making way too much money to quit it, right? And I've had other guys that, are that I've seen that are working barely above minimum wage, but they have a deep sense of purpose, in some of the work that they do. And it's not just about work, but it's about, the way that I influence other people in the world around me and walk out my faith. So those are kind of the areas that FieldCraft is going to focus on. But the hub of all of it, and this is the part that I think a lot of guys are going to connect with, is just the idea of spiritual grit. It takes spiritual grit and determination to acquire these skills, to develop these skills over time. This is New Year's resolution time. We were laughing a little earlier about Black Friday for therapists. It's usually January because you get with stuff, crazy family over the holidays, and then you make New Year's resolutions. According to the Apple Watch or Apple commercial, you stop those New Year's resolutions on January 9th. So that's it. But then on January 10th, they're calling the Pratt Clinic. But this is, I mean, spiritual grit is more about resolutions, more than resolutions. It's more than toughness. It's putting those together, but also with meaning, so that there's meaning that's attached to that. And that's what helps those other skills to develop in such a way that leads to wholehearted living.
That's so vital and so important and so needed for men in our world. And I would agree with you that so often men are at a place of just quietly doing good things in life, and yet they're totally disconnected from their heart. And so I love the language that you're using and the vision that you're using. And man, I look forward to hearing more about FieldCraft coming down in the future.
Yeah, I mean, if for any of you that are listening and watching, and this resonates with you, and this lands with you. No, number one, this is not therapy. This is not group therapy. It's not individual therapy. It's not a mental health function at all. Okay. Number two, it's not for just guys who are jacked up. Okay. Now, I guess jacked up guys can probably benefit from this, but this is really much more for those guys who are responsible, hardworking, love their families, but then all of a sudden, sometimes they just feel like the wind's come out of their sails, or they feel like the things that they are doing are not getting the results that they would like, especially in their relationships and in their inner world, right? And it's for those guys. So if you remember those two things, it's not for therapy, it's not for somebody that's got a lot of pathology. This is just for normal guys that want to improve skills. What's coming down the pike, and this, we'll talk more about this next week, actually, we'll give a timeline, I think, to it, is a training that's going to take place that is going to be kind of as you want to do the training, but it's going to be a skills training, and that's what guys need, is they just need to improve the skills. And it's not going to be long, it's not going to be expensive, it's not going to be extensive, but it's just going to be something that I think it'll be a go-to for, I think, many people to just be able to say, okay, that's doable. Why wouldn't I do that?
This is an area that I need to develop and sharpen my skills.
Yeah. And then there'll be some other opportunities, because I think the thing that guys need is they need other guys that maybe are wanting to sharpen some of the same skills, and there'll be some deeper dive opportunities coming along. As well as a few other things that will just help you to kind of keep this in front of you, and to kind of some fuel for the spiritual grit that it's going to take over the long haul.
Sounds so exciting. Look forward to hearing more about it.
The more I've built this and worked on this, the more excited I've gotten. And I can't wait to see how it goes. I mean, even just in the last week, I've had several guys that have messaged me on social media or called here at the office and said, "Hey, I want this. I don't know what it is, but I want to do this." So it's already kind of landing with a few guys. So if this all sounds good, stay close and watch our social media, and we'll have some more podcasts in the next few weeks that'll kind of unroll this a little bit more.
Well, can't wait to hear more.
Okay.
Thanks, Pepper.
Hey, thank you. You're a fantastic host.
Yeah, all right.
Maybe like you've done this before. Yeah.
One or two times.
Yeah, all right. Well, thanks a lot, and Happy New Year to everybody. So as we wrap up, my hope is that this conversation felt like an honest check-in, a real State of the Union moment where you notice the things that may be holding you, the things that may be costing you energy, and what might need more attention than it's been getting. FieldCraft exists as a response to that exact kind of honesty, not necessarily to fix men, but to train a kind of strength that can actually be lived in everyday life. This conversation sets the stage for the rest of the State of the Man series. So in the weeks ahead, we'll take the themes that we've touched on today: emotion, grit, purpose, authenticity, adventure. We're going to slow them down one at a time and talk to some other folks about this and see what they have to say. So there's no rush and there's no pressure here. It's just an invitation to keep listening and paying attention to what resonates and what it is that kind of lands with you. So thank you, Will Chenault, for spending this time with us and for leading this conversation. And thank you for spending this time with me and with Will. And we'll keep this conversation going on the next time with Dr. Pepper and Friends, where grit and grace come together for wholehearted living.